My name's Eve Biddle. I'm one of the co-directors here, along with Bowie and Jeff. I'm so glad that you guys are here at our 9th annual summer festival. I kind of can't believe it's been that long, but here we are. We're talking today with Sabrina Barrios, who did the installation that is behind this black curtain. You can walk into the installation if you haven't already. I highly recommend it. Sabrina was an artist in residence with us last summer, and the way that Bowie, Jeff, and I curate this exhibition is we reach out to our residents from the past year, January to January, and we ask them to submit proposals for installations, and often we'll ask them to grow their installations if we're really enthusiastic about their work, which is what happened with Sabrina. So we really believe that we need to give space to emerging artists to make installations that the goal of which are not to sell, the goal of which is to have an experience in our space. We really believe in that. She is going to speak a little bit about her process, the whole idea behind this piece, and also some of the history that she's incorporated into these forms, which I think is super exciting and is referenced, sort of obliquely. And then we'll open it up for questions. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, Eve. Thank you, Eve. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you coming all the way. Thank you for having me again. Yeah. It's great to be here, and it's great to be part of this amazing show. It's really well curated. Congratulations. I want to start with a little bit of back work, just because I work conceptually, and there are layers and layers of information within this space. So I work conceptually, questioning reality. That's my whole thing. So for that to happen, I do lots of studies in quantum physics that studies the microscopic realm, and the cosmology that studies the opposite, which is the macro. And I also do a lot of research in ancient history, but not the kind of history that you read in books, but the history that it's passed from generation to generation, because I really believe that history is written by victors. So whoever wins a war gets to tell what history is from that point on. So it's part of my research to go into places like Mexico and the pyramids in Mexico, or I just came back from Cambodia, and actually go into these places and talk to the natives, the tribes, the shamans, to understand their history as they speak to me and not whatever it's written there. So when I talk about quantum physics, this body of work is very geometric. I work a lot with geometry, but the work that I make, because it's so conceptual, sometimes I make paintings, videos, or installations. It really depends on what I want for you to experience, right? Because I think it's really important to create an experience rather than an object, because then you remember. And besides that whole quantum physics, that really what they say in quantum physics, and that's how I started. So I started creating portals that would lead to a different dimension. And what they say in quantum physics is every time that you decide that you have more than one alternative, and you decide for one or for the other, just because you thought of other alternatives, they were realized, they happened somewhere else. But because you were stuck in your body, just like you're stuck in this reality, you're only going to be able to experience one of those paths. So I look into this holistic thing. I look at the future, I look at the past, to create a more holistic understanding of the work that I create, which is, again, to question reality. And by studying so much, I understand more and more that actually what people tell you, what we learn in school, it's not necessarily what happened. It's really based off, of course, of research, but it's by interpretation of someone who interprets history that way or the other way. And so knowing that, and knowing there's a gap in quantum physics or in history or whatever, that's where my work comes about, right? This piece here is called Coup D'etat, How They Did It. And I actually have a counterpart to this piece, which is in Staten Island, in the Snug Harbor Cultural Center. I encourage you guys to go check out that exhibition as well, if you guys have the time. It's a great show. It's not just me. There are other people, it's like this show. It's a great show. But the whole thing is that Coup d'etat is what's going on in Brazil. I'm a Brazilian artist, and so I think it's really important for an artist to speak up their voice. And I'm really, I love my country, and I'm really bummed about what's going on. Basically, it's a dictatorship, and that's not the first time that it happens to Brazil, unfortunately. 1964 was the first time. We were under dictatorship for 21 years, lasted until 1985, and that's why if you walked inside, you see the signs on the floor. What I'm creating here is a wormhole that connects 1964 to 2016, as though it's open, and that's why it's happening all over again. Basically, the US poured money in 64 into a bunch of countries, South America, Brazil included, to create that dictatorship. And our white elite is very conservative and very selfish, so they supported that. Same thing is happening right now. We had an elected president. She won for over 54 million votes. And the white elite, she was putting male men, very corrupt, into prison. What happened is they came together to impeach her. So it's an illegitimate government that is going on right now, and I think it's really important for me to talk about that right now. Symbolically, all of this that I was talking to you about is in the piece. What you have is the topography of Giza in Egypt. So you're gonna see the 3 pyramids of Giza, and as the viewer, you're invited to engage with the piece walking within the Nile River. So it is as though you enter the Nile River and you see the bases of the Giza pyramid, because the pyramids of Giza, they don't have a capstone. Nobody knows why, nobody knows if they were even built, right? And there's a lot of knowledge that we don't understand. And going back again to studies, there's a lot of knowledge that is said to be held by secret societies, like the Freemasons, like the Illuminati, and their symbol is very masculine, is a pyramid or a triangle that points up, which you have here. You have, as the viewer, you can walk inside and place the capstone of the pyramid as you walk on the top of one of the 3 pyramids. That's very representative symbolically of the masculine energy. So you have the water, and the only thing that you see on the surface is this pyramid pointing up. The counterpart, which is the other installation, is called Coup D'etat, How to Resist. It's basically, again, you enter through the Nile River, and the river does a swirl, which is like a spiral pointing up. And underneath that, you see a triangle or a pyramid pointing down, which is representative of the feminine. So I'm talking about, it's because every time in the past, when women came together to create these secret societies, right, they were seen as witches. It's like, we don't understand what they're doing, we don't understand their connection to nature, let's burn the witches. And then, you know, male, it's always been like that male supremacy, it's come from a long time ago. Now when I talk about Giza pyramids, the fact that nobody understands what like the hieroglyphics are telling us, even though they're not a language that you don't speak or an alphabet that you've never seen before, they're drawings, right? You should be able to interpret them. One of the reasons why in this research, again, they say we don't understand them is because they were created when we were living under a matriarchal society. So you have men wearing wigs in these hieroglyphics, which meant that they were elevated towards the level of a woman. They had higher status because the ancients saw fertility and birth as something sacred. And again, it is in these pieces because I really believe that as an artist, we have a voice and we should be fighting, we should be speaking up. Now is the time, and again, here in the US, again, is the white male, is Hillary and Trump. Please don't let Trump win this thing, right? Oh my gosh. And I believe that it's important to put all of that into work. And even though this work is ephemeral, once this exhibition is over, this piece is killed completely. But at least I think that if you understand and you want to experience, if you choose to engage with the piece, you're going to remember. And that's what I want. It's not something that you saw on the wall, it's something that you were inside and you experienced through every single angle. And just to finalize, I really believe that art is an instrument and we should use it. It's an instrument for reflection, for resistance, and for change. And that's why really I make art. So thank you guys for coming today. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free. Otherwise, please feel free to engage.
Do you guys have any questions? Well, we've got, Sabrina has the floor. I have one question, which is sort of, you came in sort of with this idea of topography of Giza and the Nile River, but we sort of gave you this very architecturally intense space to work with. What was your process? I mean, people coming through the mill, you sort of see a lot of installations that are integrated with the architecture and some that are standalone, and we're excited about both, but maybe particularly excited about the ones that engage with this crazy, unique space. So I'd be curious for you to talk just a little bit about interacting with the space.
So actually, when I came here, I didn't know that I was going to create Giza. I just created Giza because I thought that I saw those structures and I'm like, oh, this space is giving me Giza. So I knew conceptually what I want to say, and I knew that I was going to have these 2 pieces connected, one happening inside night and another here, all for 3 months. And I knew that I could create that wormhole that would connect, and politically I would be saying something important. But it all happened here. I didn't know, like, really, the space was my canvas, and I just started creating as soon as I saw it. Even by being here last year, I didn't remember like seeing all of the details and everything. But for me, it's important to create for the space. because it's more unique and actually as you as the viewer you really hear and experience or else is gone. It's just photographs that don't make justice, right?